15 years behind bars. That was supposed to be the end of it. A grieving widow turned convicted felon. Rute, the woman who once stood beside football legend Diogo Jota, was sentenced for what she called a heartbreaking mistake. But now, everything might change. Because behind the scenes, prosecutors are quietly preparing a new case, not for negligence, but for something darker, more deliberate, and far more devastating. Sources close to the investigation say new evidence has surfaced, evidence that could send Rute back to court, facing upgraded charges and even more time. Is this justice or a second trial fueled by public outrage? Because if the rumors are true, Rute may have lied, and 15 years might just be the beginning. To understand why prosecutors are considering upgrading Rute's sentence, we have to go back to the morning the world lost Diogo Jota, the beloved Portuguese striker, known for his fearless play and quiet humility, was involved in a car incident that stunned the football world. The initial reports pointed to fatigue, maybe even mechanical failure. But then the investigation turned inward, toward home, toward Rute. She said it was a mistake, a mix-up between two identical white pill bottles, one containing medication Diogo needed to breathe, and the other sleeping medication. In a shaky, tearful confession, Rute claimed she accidentally gave him the wrong dose, that she was tired, distracted, that Diogo shouldn't have driven that morning. But prosecutors weren't convinced, because Diogo's toxicology report didn't show just one sedative. It showed multiple doses, and that wasn't all. A text on Rute's phone, sent just hours before the incident, read, "I think I messed up. He wasn't supposed to drive today." That text cracked the case wide open. Investigators raided the house. They found swapped pill bottles, handwritten notes, and more chilling details that raised the same question. Was it really just an accident? In court, Rute was charged with negligence leading to loss of life. She wept. Diogo's mother wept. And the judge delivered a sentence rarely seen in domestic cases: 15 years in prison. The case divided a nation. Some said it was harsh. Others said it wasn't harsh enough. And now, with newly uncovered messages and hidden files, the legal system might be getting ready to go even further. For weeks, it seemed like the case was closed. Rute was behind bars. The public had moved on. But then, something surfaced. According to an exclusive leak obtained by investigative reporters in Lisbon, authorities discovered a second phone hidden in Rute's former bedroom, a phone that had never been entered into court evidence. On it were messages that prosecutors are now calling disturbing, incriminating, and possibly grounds for a second indictment. One message, allegedly sent just 2 days before the incident, read, "He's still suspicious. I can't take this anymore." Another, sent just hours before the event, "If he's not out of the way soon, everything we built falls apart." And the most shocking of all, a deleted voice note, partially recovered, where a female voice, believed to be Rute, says, "I just needed a few more days. He wasn't supposed to wake up." That's when the legal system jolted back to life. Sources now confirm that the district attorney's office is reviewing these findings to determine whether Rute should face upgraded charges, possibly intentional endangerment or related charges. While the original trial concluded with a negligence verdict, Portuguese law allows for new charges if significant evidence of intent emerges after sentencing. And according to one insider close to the case, these new messages change everything. This isn't about a mistake anymore. It's about motive. Now, legal analysts are debating whether this qualifies as a separate crime, or if Rute could face proceedings under what's called a procedural reversal due to suppressed evidence. And the DA, they're keeping quiet for now. But behind the scenes, a storm is brewing. What happens when justice feels unfinished? That's the question prosecutors in Lisbon are now grappling with as a team of senior attorneys prepares to review Rute's case from the ground up. Not because of public pressure, but because of the newly uncovered evidence, messages that hint at motive, resentment, and maybe even intent. According to legal sources speaking under condition of anonymity, the district attorney has authorized a special investigative review, a process that allows them to determine whether a new charge can be brought forward based on materially significant post-trial evidence. In short, they're looking at whether Rute's 15-year sentence was too light, or worse, whether she was charged with the wrong crime altogether. So what would this look like? It wouldn't be a simple appeal. It would be a second with a new charge based on new facts that weren't available during the original trial. Legal experts say it could fall under Article 449 of the Portuguese Procedure Code, which allows retrials if new evidence radically alters the outcome of the original ruling. And that's not all. Prosecutors are also reviewing Rute's behavior post-sentencing, including reports that she tried to delete cloud backups connected to the hidden phone just days before her arrest. One prosecutor reportedly told a colleague, if she tried to hide this evidence, that's obstruction. That alone could justify re-indictment. Behind closed doors, legal teams are debating three possible outcomes. 1. Proceed with new charges, possibly or a comparable serious charge. 2. Use the new evidence to extend her sentence through a procedural sentencing appeal. 3. Do nothing and risk public outrage. Because ever since the leaked messages went viral, the pressure has only grown. Social media is exploding. The public wants more answers. And Diogo's family, they're demanding it. But while prosecutors prepare for a legal battle, Rute's legal team isn't backing down. In a fiery new statement released through her attorney, Rute's defense claims the entire effort to reopen the case is a political stunt, fueled by media frenzy, public anger, and a desperate need for a villain. Her lead attorney, Miguel Santos, told reporters, Rute has already faced the court. She has already been sentenced. This sudden obsession with digging up more charges is nothing short of harassment. They argue that the leaked messages are being misinterpreted, taken out of context, and don't prove intent. At worst, they say, the messages show a woman in emotional distress, not a calculated individual. The defense is also preparing to argue that Rute's rights are being violated. They claim the second phone was found without a warrant. The messages may have been tampered with during extraction. And the public narrative, amplified by leaks, has poisoned any chance of a fair second trial. One source close to the defense told local media, "You cannot retry someone just because people are angry. That's not justice, that's mob rule. And it's not just legal arguments. Rute's lawyers are planning to fight this in the court of public opinion, too. They're preparing to release new documents and mental health records that allegedly show Rute was suffering from severe exhaustion, anxiety, and dissociation in the days leading up to the incident. In one document, a therapist reportedly described her as on the edge, fragmented, functioning but not consciously aware. They'll argue that Rute wasn't plotting. She was breaking down. And if this second trial goes forward, the world will see a completely different version of the story. Not a cold-hearted manipulator, but a woman spiraling under pressure, grief, and fear. While Rute's lawyers fight to protect her name, Diogo Jota's family is fighting to protect something else, his memory, and they're not staying silent anymore. In a heartbreaking interview with RTP News, Diogo's mother, Teresa, shared her pain publicly for the first time since the verdict. 15 years? That's not enough. My son was taken from us. And now they say it might have been on purpose? She paused, looked into the camera, and said words that echoed across Portugal. "She didn't just take my son away, she destroyed our family." The reaction was immediate. Across social media, fans, players, and even former coaches began reposting Teresa's words. Clips from her interview went viral, with millions watching the pain in her eyes as she demanded stronger punishment and full accountability. Within hours, hashtags exploded again. "Justice for Diogo. Upgrade the sentence. She lied to all office." At Diogo's former club, fans gathered outside the stadium, holding up signs that read, "We want truth. We want accountability." 15 years for a life? Some even staged a silent candlelight gathering, placing red roses beneath Diogo's jersey and chanting his name. And in a surprise move, Diogo's former teammate, rumored to have been one of the last people to speak to him, posted a cryptic message to Instagram. He knew something. "I'll never forget that call." The tide is turning. What began as a courtroom decision has become a national reckoning. And now, with mounting public pressure and new evidence on the table, the call for a harsher sentence is no longer just legal, it's emotional. Diogo's family says they won't stop until Rute is held fully accountable, and the people, they're right behind them. So, what happens now? According to Portuguese law, Rute cannot be retried for the same charge. But if prosecutors determine that the new messages reveal intent, they can file entirely new charges that carry far heavier penalties. Legal analysts say 3 scenarios are currently on the table. This would mean prosecutors believe Rute knowingly acted in a way that could cause loss of life,